not a dispatch. When they go back to their computer to fill out an offense report, they have to auto-generate that CAD number. Don't subpoena records for your cause number, because you're only going to get the shit that they've already given the prosecutor. Subpoena records for that CAD number. Each individual offense report will have its own incident number, whether it's HPD, whether it's the sheriff's office. Subpoena records for that offense report number, okay? I don't subpoena anything from anywhere to do with that cause number, because I'm just gonna get duplicate of whatever the state's already given me. And if anybody can come up with a way to get the sheriff's office to automatically give me what they're automatically giving the prosecution after I subpoena documents, you know what I'm talking about? When I subpoena things, they just get a courtesy copy, but they don't do the same for me. If you guys could figure out a way to make that happen for the defense, I'd pay money for it. Make that one happen. I'm getting close to being wrapped up. It feels like it went very quickly. My concluding remark is this. I've open record requested from both the police department and the sheriff's office access to the new manuals that they've got, the operating manuals, because they've switched from that OLO system, in the hopes that HCCLA will within the next year be able to put on a CLE for you all so that we can all understand how these damn offense report systems work, because it's now integrated with EMS. And so within the next year, we hope to be able to bring you all some material to, fight the bad guys. Thank you very much.
Our last presenter is Vivian King. When I left the DA's office, I was in, I can't remember what court, and I didn't know Vivian very well through the DA's office because, let's be honest, I was her my cases. She pulls me aside. You just left? Yeah, I left. I have this case. We're going to try it together. I'm like, oh, you want me to sit with you? She taught me so much. Hands down, she is the most prepared trial lawyer I have ever seen in my life. To the point where sometimes you're sitting there like, baby, it doesn't take all that. It does not take all that. She has you going to the house and sitting there and meeting their family for a whole Saturday and talking to them about the history, because in some cases where I thought it didn't take all that, it took all that. She is prepared, hands down. That year, I believe, out of the 13 plus cases she tried, and yes, some attorneys will not try 13 cases in their whole career. She tried them back to back, every 5 minutes she was in trial. And every time a jury walked in and stood up and looked at her, they said that her client was not guilty. There was not one that they even kind of hinged on. No, just not guilty. I think she told me that if I'm going to come out here and I'm going to be representing people, then I'm going to do it right, and she's going to make sure I know how to do it the right way. And she also gave me, I guess, Mr. Jones, oh, when you try a case, they're going to know they didn't try the case. You're going to beat up on somebody, and even if you don't win, because you might not always win, even if you don't win, they will know that they have been through a fight. And she does it phenomenally. She prepares her cases down to the point where when you walk into her office and she's going to trial, some people have a binder and they have a different section for each witness. Vivian has a different binder for each witness, and a binder that has tabs that tells you about what is in all of the other binders. And if there's Facebook, if there's MySpace, if there's anything, she knows it. If there was local gossip at the school about one of the kids that said something, she knows it, and it's in the binder, and you need to know it, and you need to commit it to memory before you start the trial. Because as she said, you need to know more than anybody and everybody in that courtroom, including your client. Without any further, Vivian.
I feel like they do. T.I. needs to just stand up and do the lecture, because she's absorbed everything. One of the reasons why I wanted T.I. to try that case with me is because she has a photographic memory. I mean, my brain is already getting old. At 56, I can't remember anything. But T.I. remembers everything, every detail. So don't let her fool you. I mean, I guess that if Diane is Letitia's mentor, that's one of my many. One of the But, you know, like numbers and numbers and numbers of women who had time, who had offices, and you knew where their offices were located, there just weren't many. I wanted to figure out how to do it. I mean, as a prosecutor, I watched a lot of guy lawyers that were excellent. I watched Robert Jones do this fantastic trial once with this guy, you know, a police officer with a drug dealer, with all the gangster drug dealers, and he was caught on video with a kilo of cocaine, pulling it on the video, and somehow he got a victory, and I was like, what did he do? And so, you know, I was a prosecutor watching, wondering how he was doing it. So when I left, I was looking for people to ask, and so I ended up asking the guys, you know, because they were the ones in trial all the time. The women like Windi knew how to talk her way out of most trials. But when she did, she kicked their butts. But Windi just knew how to do it. I don't know how she did it, but she knew how to do it. And Catherine did all the big ones that had to do capitals. But you know, when you're a baby defense lawyer, you're not trying to do capitals and murders like they were. So I'm just trying to figure out how to deal with, you know, crack under a gram and, you know, burglary and little stuff like that. I mean, I didn't know how to do it. And so I remember thinking, I want to be a great lawyer, but how do I do this? So I would go on Saturdays. There was a lot of guys in one office. I wanted to hit as many lawyers as I could to try to learn. And so there was an office in 13th, 14th, Texas, I never forget, where Donald Davis was, and who was there? Lot Brooks, and Connie Williams, and there was some of the guys aren't here anymore. You know, the guy that fought bulls or whatever, the tall guy was there. I forgot his name. But there was a lot of them. There was like 5 or 6 of them there, and they would see their clients on Saturdays. County probably still does it. A lot of folks, they were all there. So I would go up there and say, I got this trial the next week, you know, because I was doing 100% court appointments. In tough courts like the 185th, Susan Brown, you know, Debbie Mantu Strickland, you know, Merrick Blue Keel, and they're going to trial every Monday. And so I go over there and try to ask them, how do I do this? You know, just spend some time with me, help me with this. How do I, you know, how do I overcome? Because it's scary. I mean, when you first start off, I mean, you young ladies have ladies y'all can partner with and guys you can partner with. It's scary when you leave the DA's office and they expect for you to just, you know, go along and get along, you know, to get paid. But, you know, I'm from the street. I had a bad life. I had a bad childhood. People took chances on me. People cared about me when nobody else did. I cared about my clients, and I wanted to show them that I cared. I wanted to spend that extra time with them. One of the reasons why I gained a great reputation, and I still have it in the jail, I don't know how, is because I actually on Sundays, for 10 years I know, I went to Windsor Village United Methodist Church, and we had these long sermon notes. So I would gather them, and every Sunday I would go take sermon notes to all my clients. And we'd go through the sermons and things like that. And I didn't get paid for that. I mean, those were court-appointed cases. But I cared about them. And I wanted them to know that I loved them and I was praying for them. Sad about it, but so many people are lost, you know? I mean, they were raised with crackhead mothers, no environments, nowhere to go, and they didn't know how to be men. That's what a lot of them tell me. I just don't know how to be a man. I think if my kid needs some food or something, I need to go steal to do it. I need to go rob somebody because I just don't know how to do it. So I would try to teach them I didn't know how to tell them how to be a man, but I could at least get to know them. And that's when I realized, like T.I. was saying, no matter who I tried to case for, and once I didn't have to do appointments as much anymore, and I could have my regular retained clients, I always had to give them a day in the life. You know, I was going to spend a day with their families. I was going to spend the day with whoever loved them, whoever was putting money on their books. If they were out on bond, I was going to spend a day with them, just to know how they lived and how they breathed, so I could bring their story to life. You know, God knows the victim story is going to come to life, you know, and everybody in the family is going to come to life. And that helped me know who they are and how to explain them when trial. The other ladies have told you all the things that we have to do. You have to be prepared, like Letitia said. You have to know the case law. You can't be lazy if you want to be great, if you want to win. So when I learned from the guys, Robert, okay, he didn't win the office with them, so I had to go over there and sit with him by himself. And he always had a whole lot of things going on, but he always had time for me and made time for me and gave me motions. And he's the one I think that taught us, and I'm sure since I'm kind of from his school too, like Letitia, taught us how to think outside the box, not be afraid of who you are. I tried my first federal case, as Letitia was alluding to, I think before you were around. Sure. We tried our first federal case, and it was all guys. It was 4 co-defendants. They were from the rap-alike genre. I think it was in the 90s, like 97, 98. And Well, they had all guy lawyers, and the rebel I got is real macho. They really ain't like no girl lawyers. But Donald Davis was kind of starting his decline and demise. So he kind of messed, something wasn't going right with the client. Maybe he wasn't, you know, he's deceased now, and he was a great lawyer. He either killed himself, somebody killed him, we don't know, but it was ruled as suicide, if y'all didn't know him. And so I took his place in this, you know, representing a defendant. And that defendant had given a statement, a confession, bad confession. It hurt everybody. It hurt everybody. So the lawyers in the case were Randy Schaefer, who had one of the big baller clients, Big Shot. Back then, Rap-A-Lot played their employees. James Prince was paying someone like $250,000 a year. I mean, they were ex-cons, all ex-cons. All had done probably 25 on robbery, but you know, once he made it, he took his guys in. And so one was, I mean, a couple of them were making big money. And who was the other one? Mr. Pink. Walter Pink was trying one. Walter Pink was a fighter. He was a big. His son is around here today. Y'all know Pink, but his daddy was a scrapper. And then Robert had one, and Donald Davis had one. So I took one of his place. Now I'm fighting in the courthouse. I'm learning. You know, I'm talking. I'm learning from the guys. I'm fighting every day. You know, I got these bad dudes in state court. I've never done anything in federal court. So, but I went to a lot of seminars, and I wanted to be good. So I had gone to this wonderful seminar at National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers had given in New York, and it was right after the OJ verdict, and the OJ team was teaching the CLE in New York, and it was really great. I mean, it was this guy's name died. Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey. They all, you know, taught the class. F. Lee Bailey, you know, was real dynamic. He'd written a lot of books in his day, and he talked about, I think it's Edwards versus Arizona, and talked about the right to counsel and how you don't lose the right to counsel, and a cop can't take that away from you. No one can take it away from you. You have that right to counsel. And he just kept drilling it. You know, he was a drill sergeant, little me, you know, telling it. It was a great story. So when he puts me, so Robert says, Vivian, we need to meet James Prince on Rap-A-Lot. He just sold all of his contracts, $30 million to Virgin Records. I think we need to sub you in. You know, I know you never tried one before, but you know, I watched you. I know you're not scared. You know, you're a little fighter. It's time for you to do this. So it was 1998. So I got involved, and when I got involved, everybody's scared. The trials had been bifurcated. It was 4 co-defendants. 2 of them were going to go, and then 2 of them were going to go. So I was on the team. I just happened to be a part of. Robert and I were going to be trying it for these guys, and then Randy Schaefer and Mr. Pink were going to be trying it first. And so when I looked at all the evidence, I got all the evidence. I subbed in, got all the evidence. And Donald Davis, like I said, he was going down. He had allowed his client to give this long, lengthy statement that just laid out the whole conspiracy. Okay, laid out the whole drug deal, laid everything out. It was like long and it was bad. So I listened to it, and on the tape when it first started off, it said, you know, he's going through the cop, and it was a video recording. He's giving them his warnings, and the guy is like, the client is like, well, where's my lawyer? I thought my lawyer was going to be here. He said, oh, they just said Donald Davis is in the 178, in Harmon's court. He said he's in trial. Go ahead and talk. You can talk. It doesn't matter. He said you go ahead and talk. I'm not feeling this. I just don't think so. I just don't think I'm supposed to talk without my lawyer. We told you. Your lawyer said you could talk. So they go back and forth with this, and the guy just says, okay, well, I guess they said, well, we can call your lawyer anytime you get scared or you think you need to talk to him. We just call him on the phone. So he goes ahead and talks, gives this long, incriminating statement. So being unafraid, like the lady just said, we have to be courageous. We have to be bold. I would remember F. Lee Bailey. It was like Edwards versus Arizona. Now, you're not supposed. How are they just gonna? He's wavering. He's not really saying he's giving up the right, and it's going. The cops are telling him your lawyer has given up your right. You can't do that. I was like, something ain't right about this. So I go and pull that whole case from 1976. You know, we had some law on that side. I don't know when it was. I didn't look up the name. It's old. Okay, 67. When we still had some rights. I looked at them like, and it's clear in that case, no one can give that right up but you. You know, your lawyer can't give it up. Nobody can give up your right to counsel. And Judge Atlas in federal court had just been recently appointed by Clinton, I believe. And so I just filed this motion. I don't know how you do anything in federal court, but I spent an hour transcribing this video of what he said and how he said it, and I go through Edwards versus Arizona, and I don't know how to do this. I just make up a motion, and I think even back then we might have been doing it electronically. I can't remember. But anyway, I filed the motion. It wouldn't have been electronic. I filed it, no, it wasn't electronic. I filed it in court, and I thought that the strangest thing happened. I get called like about a week later in court. I'm in state court, and Judge Atlas is calling my office saying, come over immediately. There's no court date, there's no setting. So I run over there, and the prosecutors is there, and I'm like, what the heck? She stands up and she says, I read your motion, it's granted. And I'm like, I'm shocked. I mean, have you ever heard that? And then the prosecutor starts arguing. I think it's Bert Isaac. He's a seasoned prosecutor at USA. He starts arguing with her, and she was like, look, aren't we supposed to protect his rights? That guy didn't equip him to give up his rights to counsel. Y'all, the cops talked him into it. Isn't this not what we're supposed to be doing in America? I mean, she goes through like a defense argument. I can't believe this. I don't have to say a word. I'm shocked. And so she grants this motion, right? And so all the other, I gained a lot of points from Randy because they're going to trial next week, and my client, me and Robert's client, has been severed, and they're going to trial, and the prosecutor had bet on what? That statement and my client, and it's been thrown out. So I get a lot of brownie points from them, right? Because I got it. So that would have incriminated their client is no longer there anymore. So, but they lost anyway. So, but being prepared, like Tiana said, I watched that trial. It was like a 2-week trial, a 3-week trial. I watched it, and you know who my hero is, right? It's Robert Jones. He didn't watch it, but I watched it. So when it comes time for us to try the case, I'm like, Robert, I got this. I took notes. I know what everybody said. So we asked Judge Atlas for a little time so we could get the transcript typed up. She doesn't even give us the time, does she, Robert? No, y'all gonna try the case. Anyway, you can read it during the breaks. Remember, she said you can read the transcript during the breaks. I'll have it ready by the trial in 3 weeks. Y'all can read it during the breaks. And to make a long story short, we read it during the breaks. We didn't try to eat our little sandwich down in the federal courthouse room. And my client was the most incriminating because it was about drugs, of course, $1 million worth of drugs and $1 million. And my client is horrible. My client, Randy's client, the ones that already got convicted, like are calling my client to go do it. He's like the mule. And he's like the one that just does the bad stuff. They make all the calls. So he's on video taking this big old this money. I think it was in a cooler.
A cooler.
It was a cooler, not a big cooler. He's taking the cooler on video, which is full of dope and money or whatever out. And I didn't know anything about this, but I learned about it, Rule 29. I didn't know in federal court the judge back then. I didn't know if the judge can take it away from the jury and acquit your client. And anyway, I got a Rule 29 acquittal, so that was like a big deal. I got a not guilty from the judge. The judge took it away. Because I watched the other trial, I created a brand new defense. I said, Judge Atlas is going to like this. I said, we're not going to have the same defense as they did. It's going to be the same trial, same witnesses, but I thought of an edge. And we're going to do something differently. I didn't know how to do it, but it was in my mind. But I knew my hero, Robert, could do anything. So I told Robert, I said, this is how we're going to try this case. I said, we're going to get one of them big old expensive suits from LA to come down, and they would call, my client wouldn't call it drugs, he'd call it DATs. DATs, digital automated technology or something like that. And these guys these groups it was the Master P guys against the Rap-A-Lot guys. And they really call their masters digitally automated tapes. And the way I got the judge to do it is I got this guy that came down with like $2,000 suits, talking about what these DATs are. Because my guy would never use that name, drugs, even though they had that. And to make a long story short, nowhere in history they had recorded, even the cops had recorded that DATs was a nickname for drugs. They had chicken, they had bricks, they had, every word that's been used, but they never used the term DATs, okay? And so even though the cops had overheard some things and they testified to some hearsay, the judge found him not guilty because all he ever talked about was DATs, and DATs on drugs. And so that's actually how he got out of that. But one of the things that DATs have value, so at the most he stole DATs. That's all he knew that he was stealing when he went and got this. And the judge went for it and found him not guilty, and it kind of changed everything. It changed everything over the courthouse. So it was exciting. So not only be courageous, because they took courage for us to create this defense. that's totally off the box. I think the judge was almost humored by it because she didn't expect that. You know how when you have to retry a case, the judges take off because they don't really want to hear the same trial again. But we didn't give them the same trial. We gave them something else. So I think Judge Atlas was a little bit humored by that. So also think of strategies. You know, don't be afraid to try something different. You know we lose most of the time. So don't be afraid to try something different. That was the first federal case I won, but I did win a couple of others after that, and Medicaid fraud. And it was because one time when I was off with Stan Schneider, I had this client on this first big Medicare fraud, and no one had won any, and it was in Austin. And I worked really hard with my client, and when we went to Austin in Western District, Stan Schneider said, okay, well just tell your client to take a toothbrush, but she ain't coming back. And it was a great victory. All the other co-defendants lost, we won. Eric Davis had one of them. And I'm not saying that because he was bad. I'm just saying that okay, let me name who else had one too. Who else had one? Craig Washington. We were shocked that we won because it was the same snitch testified against all of us, right? And so we didn't know we were going to win, but this is about strategy, okay, and not being afraid to be a woman. Because if you admit it, Eric, it had to do with our femininity, you know, us winning. Oh, yeah, okay. She was my investigator, I'm sorry. It had to do with our femininity, the winning, because this is what my thing was. I'll do anything for love. What does love have to do with it? What's love got to do with it? Because she did everything everybody else did, but I just did it for love. And that's what she said. And she got on the witness stand, and she said, I did it. She said, the snitch was testifying. She was writing a $20,000 check. You know, this is a kickback case for Medicare for $20,000 checks, $30,000 checks. He's testifying. I mean, it was like $200,000 worth of kickback checks she'd written. She got up there and she told that prosecutor, I did it for love. And she finally told the girl, this prosecutor was a cold prosecutor. She'd come from Harris County before she go to the feds. I can't remember her name. But she was good. And when she got up there and cross-examined her, my client said, I guess you've never been in love. Eric, am I right? She said, I guess she told the prosecutor, I guess you've never been in love. The prosecutor was outdone. I said, well, she's done my job. And then I sat down and rested. We didn't read it, we didn't do anything. And everybody else stood up and rested too, didn't they? And so it was just, she did the same thing everybody else did. They just liked it. It was just our strategy. We're going to hit them with love. We said, what is common with jurors? We black coming in from Austin. You know, some people are conservative, some are not. We the jurors going to basically be all white Hispanic. But everybody relates to love. Everybody relates to love. And so that was going to be our thing. We can't win this. We didn't think we were going to win. But we did it for love. Anyway, I'm going to sit down and just let you know, if I do anything that's different, it's the strategy. You know, I'm not any better lawyer than anybody else. I am bold. I am courageous. I've learned from some of the best who I've tried to emulate. I give them their props. I'm begging the women to give me mine. Thank you for having me.
Women's History Month. These are some good tools that we can take for the next 10 minutes, because we have 10 minutes to work on that. If you have any questions, please fire them. Trust me, they're going to be bold. If you have a question that you really don't want to answer, you might want to hold off on that until you can ask it personally. But if you have questions, if you have a case coming up and you have an idea or a thought or something you want to ask about it, ask them. They're here. They can give you insight. These are, let me tell you, I called them on the phone and said, could you come and speak? And without hesitation, they said yes. And this is from the PD's office, so you know we were there. And despite the fact that we weren't sending out big checks and saying, hey, we get to this flat, without hesitation, they came here and sacrificed of their own time. I believe Windi I have a trial that starts at the beginning of the week, but if it's at the end of the week, I can make it. And without any type of notice, she's here. So if you have a question or you have something you want to ask, please ask, because these women are good. I didn't go over the accolades because I feel like y'all from here, you know that they've been Women of the Year. They had a Lawyer of the Year, Women of the Year, several not guilty in murders every 6 minutes. Like, these are the women you have here. Use your resources. If you have a question, please ask.
I have a question.
Go fire.
I have a horrible case coming up. It hadn't been set for trial, but the officers went to it's a family friend's house and had this long conversation with my client and said, well, you know, we got you on tape. But the tapes at the school didn't work, so there was no tape. Well, you know, we have a witness. But the witness is identified. And so they start saying, no, we're just trying to go. He didn't say anything about, well, do I need a lawyer, And they were at home with him, but he finally broke down and confessed. So I'm getting ready to file some motions to suppress that. But do the police, and I've talked to several prosecutors, I haven't talked to Robert, I haven't talked to Mr. Vincent, but I will since we're here. They secretly videotaped him at his house. And it's a masturbation case, but there's no intent on his part. The elements of the crime are not being met because somebody just rolled up on him. He didn't see them seeing him, but they could not identify him, nor were there any cameras at that time. So I'm looking to get that case dismissed on that. What was this trouble? I was wondering, can the police secretly videotape you in your house like that?
I have questions. Did they tape him whacking it or his confession?
His confession.
Okay, and they went into the house?
His house, yes.
Right, not he consensually lets them in?
Yes.
Okay, and they sit and visit and he confesses on the spot?
Well, after they told him, you know, we have a witness, but they didn't have a witness.
Did they Mirandize him? Did they Mirandize him?
No,
Well, they can't use it then. That's 38-20-23.
that's what I thought.
Well, and, what they'll say, what they'll start off saying is, well, it wasn't a suspect at that point, we didn't have to Mirandize him.
There is a suspect, as they say, he came to their witness, and
I think you have to be in custody for 30
But
years.
he wasn't in custody.
But he wasn't free to, so they just left out his house.
Yeah, but they lied to him in court.
Right, we understand that part. We understand that part. Well, I'm just gonna tell you this, they're right, but I would still use 38-23. I mean, he's not in custody, but to me, if you're talking to the cops, you can't leave. And for purposes of court, 38-23 says if you want to use it, you need to record them and you need to remember.